Hello, everybody. This is Fernando for the latest Mysteries and Oddities news video. Well, I thought I would mix this one in here while I'm continuing to do your new suggestions. Please keep them coming. I'm going to be doing a few more of those throughout the next coming weeks. So who knows? You may actually have one of yours featured here soon. But it has to do with an interesting bit of news that's been ongoing for a good number of years. I originally read about this about 2 years ago, and then I saw an update about it last year, and so I thought I would showcase it here. The reason is this mystery almost involves a sort of lost, buried treasure. Fascinating stuff. It's almost like a real life story involving, let's say, someone trying to find pirate's treasure that's buried somewhere. You know it's there, you just don't know exactly where, but when you find it, you're going to be instantly rich. And it has to do with the world of crypto. Now, I'm not advocating for or against crypto, nothing along those lines. There'll be no discussion on that part, at least for this video, but instead it just has to do with a device containing crypto and the fact that it was thrown out. So in this case, it's going to be about this. It's about James Howells and the $181 million in lost Bitcoin that was buried in a dump. You know more information about that here in just a moment. So let's go ahead and let's share that. I'd love to hear what your thoughts are as well. And who knows, if there's any update sometime soon, then I'll definitely showcase that as well. But here's essentially the ongoing story. James Howe is a guy that lives somewhere there in Newport. They're in an area by southern Wales. You have to go back to 2013, in fact, for the original incident to have happened. Sometime then, he said he had two hard drives, both of them looked exactly alike. One of them, though, contained about 8,000 in Bitcoins, and the other one was just a blank one. And so he decided to throw away the blank one, but inadvertently, he actually threw away the one that had the 8,000 Bitcoins. And so once he realized that mistake, obviously it was there at the dump. It was too late. He had put it into a garbage bag, and then it was buried who knows where within that landfill. And then to this day, it's been his trek to actually have it retrieved back. Now, again, anything involving Bitcoin and crypto and all that stuff, it's just, again, I'm not going to advocate for or against it. I'm just referencing it here just for the sake of the story. But he is definitely someone that is on this, what he calls a high-tech treasure hunt to try to get it back. The issue, though, is this. That city has a council that ever since from the beginning, they have stated that the trash will stay as is. I don't know if you've ever been to a landfill before. Where I used to live at back growing up, there was a very large landfill nearby. And then if you ever seen one, they're gigantic. They're absolutely just massive. I mean, we're talking acres and acres and acres, almost like as far as the eye can see when it comes to dump grounds. And then once an area is pretty much filled, they move on to the next area next to it, and then they start there, and then it's usually covered up. It's usually like with cement as well, or other type of material that makes sure that there's no chance or very little chance as possible of leakage. And then everything is just compacted very, very tightly. And then on the top, once it's finally done, it's just squared away. I remember, in fact, a landfill near our area, just seeing those gigantic mounds, like they just go high into the air, almost as tall as small buildings in of itself. In fact, you're looking at a picture of the dump itself, the one that's associated with this story of the guy from the gentleman, Mr. James Howells, experience, and that's where that hard drive is. You can see there that it's basically been covered. It's already been covered. There's grass growing on it. It's done. Once that happens, then again, there's trash being placed into another nearby area, and that location is sealed and done. But he has tried since then to work with the council there to see what can be done to try to retrieve that little teeny tiny black box. Somewhere buried within that gigantic mound is that teeny tiny box, and that's the one that contains the 8,000 Bitcoins. He has tried multiple times, but each time the city council has said either no or outright never even talked to him with regards to it. There's various reasons why, and I totally understand on that part too. Number one is that it's the environmental effect. The council has stated that stuff involving landfills and landfill excavation, there's going to be a large amount of waste, obviously, that'll be once again out there. And when that happens, it could create some kind of problems or issues with the environment. They've also mentioned that there's issues with people. Like, in other words, anyone who's hired, even if they're willingly hired to go there, they in turn could experience huge health problems as well because of the toxicity associated with that landfill too. And then there's of course the area there as far as the neighbors and others around that location. Who would want something like that, right? Like all of a sudden they could face those issues, and who knows what else leaking into the ground and so on. So it's just, there's other little reasons that I was reading too as well, but those are the ones that stand out. And there's also the idea that all of that work and harm and potential danger and health problems and who knows how many other costs afterward, if things need to be cleaned up again and again through after effects, all of that could be for a little black box that couldn't even work. Like, in other words, let's say it is by some miracle found, needle in the haystacks type stuff, and then it's popped into somewhere and then it shows blank. Like, in other words, nothing in working, because think of it now, we're going almost, I believe, 9 or 10 years since that was lost. That was crushed, that was compacted, that was placed within who knows what other type of garbage and human waste and who knows what else and everything. Diapers, we're talking stuff involving detergent, what else is acidic, food and so on, rotting stuff, like it's all in there. And so the idea that this thing could still work is slim to none, but that's supposed to be essentially what's going to happen. But this guy, James Howell, he is still adamant. He has come with several proposals associated with it. Some of those seem to be on a sliding scale where they're going more and more expensive. But essentially, it's come down to this. There's a total, he estimates, a cost of $11 million to go on this digital treasure hunt. And he has apparently actually obtained that money, or at least funding associated with it. His idea is he's going to use that money to hire a team. There's going to be a team there that's going to be able to expertly try to find what's associated with that landfill. His notion is based on the time frame of him dumping the garbage and then that landfill having that garbage there, that it's located somewhere in that area. Like, in other words, it wouldn't be a completely different location, but at least it would be somewhere there. And he has placed it down to a grid area. He would hire experts that are involved with landfill excavation, experts in waste management, experts in data extraction as well. And that includes even having robots, like little robot bots, like whatever they are, either four-legged and so on, that would be used as well to be able to help get this done. And it would be $11 million at the highest. And then the scaled out version, as he calls it, would be $6 million. And the total time frame would be up to maybe 18 months is how he describes it when it comes to how long it would take to get that done. It's even down to the point where his plan involves hiring security as well, in case anyone might try to suddenly jump in out of nowhere and then go and try to retrieve the hard drive themselves. 24 hours CCTV cameras too, patrols at night as well. This is the kind of stuff where it's almost like it's from a movie, right? This is the kind of stuff that you could just see being made into a movie of the week because of the very bizarre situation involved. You have a little tiny black box, 8,000 in Bitcoin, almost $181 million, at least at that time. Who knows what the value is today, being lost. It just has to be discovered, and whoever has it, it's theirs. It's in their hands, and then that's when that's done. But every single time the council has said no. They said that they don't want anything to damage the environment in any way. they're better off leaving it as is, and that's been it. He's even offered to include a solar or wind energy farm on top of the landfill. So once everything is done, like in other words, everything is looked at, he's even offered to have the garbage recycled as well, everything cleaned up and so on, even putting a solar or wind energy farm on top of it, everything to make it look as environmentally good as possible. He's still waiting for an answer on there, and that's just been the ongoing mystery right now. Is it going to happen? Is it not? Everything again seems to point to a big no with big capital letters and a little teeny tiny yes, because he's apparently going another route, some legal route, in case he can't get any decision from the council. But once that happens and there's more information on that, then I'll be able to provide an update. Maybe it'll be a final answer associated with it. And if so, then I'll place that there. If you're wondering too how he's going to split the money, is this. He says that 30% of whatever is recovered, like in other words, 30% of that Bitcoin would go to the investors, the people again that are in turn funding this project. And then he said that he would keep about another 30% on his end. And then another portion of it would be again involving the costs associated with cleaning things up and so on. And then whatever's left over would essentially give almost 30% or close to it to the actual residents. So that way the residents of that location of Newport, which is about 150,000 residents in total, can at least share in the wealth. That's his proposal. That's the information that he's brought on board. That's still everything that's getting a big fat no when it comes to the council. After almost 10 years of hearing no's, he's still going at it. So we'll see what happens next. Fascinating stuff, right? When it comes to this, a modern day digital treasure hunt. Great mystery associated with it. Let's see how it plays out afterward. But if anybody has any more info, anything else I might have missed, then please post those comments below. Maybe those of you in the nearby area, local area, what are your thoughts? Do you think this is something that should be done? Should there be a massive undertaking, which, by the way, would involve 100,000 pounds of trash in order to bring up that little teeny tiny black box? 100,000 pounds of trash. Should it be done? Should it be canceled? Let me know. Post it in the comments. All right, everybody. Thanks again as always. Take care. Bye.